Hey everyone, welcome to another Redstone build tutorial. I'm Nethercloud, and today we're going to be constructing a one-wide tileable on-off switchboard that uses buttons instead of levers and has a redstone lamp for an indicator. If you'd like to skip ahead to the block-by-block section of this build tutorial, I'll put a link in the description with a timestamp so that you can do so now. For everyone else, let's take a quick look at what we've got going on before we dive into that block-by-block. If you're a newcomer to Redstone, I'll try to catch you up to speed on what we've got going on, and we'll start at the beginning and walk through the entire circuit. It's a pretty simple one, and I know that's a joke in the Redstone community, but you gotta say it, right? So, we're gonna start off with our button. For those of you that didn't know, when you press a button, it triggers when you press it and when it releases, and because of that, we're gonna be sending the signal through a monostable circuit, because for our purposes, we want a single tick output, and that's what the mono in monostable circuit means. It is a single tick output that is stable, and it will come out of this repeater here. When you press the button, it will power this block, this repeater will pick it up, and send it into this solid block here. I'm using sand to remind myself to tell you guys that if you don't have enough slime to put all 3 sticky pistons into each slice, you can forego the sticky piston down here and use a regular piston as long as you use a block like sand or gravel that has gravity. The reason this all works is because when we press the button, it triggers, and when the button releases, it triggers again. The signal only goes through on the initial push, meaning this is a rising edge monostable circuit, and on the release, instead of triggering a second signal, because the piston is extended, it actually updates the piston and allows it to retract and reset, allowing us to press the button and trigger a single tick signal one more time. That is our monostable circuit. What we're going to do now is use 2 observers to send that single tick pulse all the way up to this solid block. When this block is powered, it'll trigger this piston as well as be picked up by this repeater, in turn triggering this piston. These pistons up in this front row are for our indicator lights, and these pistons in the back row are for our output wires. As you can see, when I pressed the button, it moved this redstone block down, thus triggering the indicator light, and it moved this one up, powering this repeater, sending power into this block and powering this line. You can then run this line off into whatever direction you want, and then alternate between these 2 opposing up and down lines so that you can send as many as you'd like wherever you need to. You're going to have to use a decent amount of vertical space to move these lines across each other. So with all redstone builds, I would recommend planning ahead and leaving yourself plenty of elbow room. So if we press this again, we now have the indicator light off and the output off. To show you guys that the other slice works in this configuration, indicator light is on, output line is on. No crosstalk between the output wires. Now, let's get into building, and I'll show you guys how to put one of these together. There are not a lot of components to this, so let's jump right in and start putting blocks down. We'll start here at the beginning where the buttons are. So you're going to want a full block of any type right here that you're placing your button on, and then we're going to put a redstone lamp directly on top of that. You can decorate directly above the redstone lamps and below the buttons without affecting the system. Now, behind here, we're going to slap down a block to hold the repeaters and a sticky piston or regular piston. If you're using a regular piston, you have to use a gravity block like a sand block. If you're using a sticky piston, any solid block will do. We're going to throw sand in there just for good measure. We're going to put a repeater facing into the sand coming out of the solid block, leaving it on 1 tick. And then another one also on 1 tick, just facing outward there. These repeaters aren't going to go into anything directly. We're going to use them to have our observers look down into. You're going to have to hold shift and press on it in order to place the block, and then move up, place another one, and then a solid block. These 2 blocks down here with the repeaters on them do not have to be solid blocks. They just have to be blocks that have the repeaters on them, so you could use slabs or whatever weird thing may come in the future. As long as the repeater can sit on top of the block you're fine. But up here, this does have to be a solid block because it'll be triggering this piston, which we're going to face downward. Now, I've been using an alternating configuration because it makes it easier to split the output lines. So on the A, if this is A and this is B, it pulls the block up to turn it on, and on B, it pushes it down to turn it on. It makes it very easy to separate the lines, but you could also do a configuration, let's say, where you do it exactly next to each other, like this. And then when you press the button, it'll turn on. The problem with this, and the thing you have to be aware of, is that if you put a line here and put down redstone dust, now you've got crosstalk between the lines, and whenever you turn either one of these on, it'll turn both of them on. So you'll have to split that somehow. Another way to split it besides what we did here would be to put a block here, and then put another one there, so that it doesn't connect these two. Again, you would have to do that all the way down or continue moving this up. But let's continue the pattern we've been using and place a block there. That takes care of our output for our wiring, but we need to wire up our indicator. Again, this solid block that we're going to place here can be a half slab. It just needs to be a block that we can place a repeater on top of, like that. And then we can use the edge of it to place our sticky piston facing down and put our redstone block there. And now we have a whole nother slice. We press button and it moves. All we have to do now is put our output wire down by placing a block there, placing a repeater, and placing a block there. And that's where our redstone line would start. And as you can see, it doesn't crosstalk with either of the existing ones, so we can send it off, and now we have 3 different on-off switches. You can tile this as many times as you need to, and use whatever button you like because it doesn't matter since it's going through the monostable circuit. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I enjoyed making it. If you guys did, please like and subscribe. Check out the socials in the links, and I do stream live on Twitch, so hopefully I'll see you guys around, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.